A row, this time on rules, rocks the Senate. Minority senators defend leaving the plenary as more lawmakers question the push to let senators attend and vote online. Senator Raffy Tulfo calls this move by the majority an embarrassment, while House lawmakers suspect the obvious that this might be tied to the upcoming impeachment trial of the vice president. And former Congressman Mike Defensor pushes back against the plunder and bribery complaints linked to his campaign donations to Senator Marcoleta. Defensor calls the cases as, quote, pilit na pilit, questioning how a mere campaign support could be turned into plunder. Good evening, you're watching Political Beat. I am Lourdes de Vera. The walkout of the Senate minority members from Tuesday's session is still making headlines following a contentious proposal to amend the Senate rules. But how exactly does the chamber process work in amending its rules? First, a motion or resolution to revise is filed and referred to the Committee on Rules. Next, the committee conducts deliberations and holds necessary hearings. After these hearings, the committee chair prepares a report which then has to be signed by a majority of the committee members. Once completed, it is submitted to the plenary for consideration and then undergoes plenary debates and interpellation. Finally, the motion is put to a vote for approval or rejection. At the Senate chamber yesterday, however, Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano said that the motion to allow online participation and voting was made in accordance with Rule number 51, which states that the rules may be amended through a motion and by a majority vote of senators present in session. But Senator Ping Lacson questioned the move, asking whether this means that the Senate is now disregarding its committees. And it will not be until Monday, June 1, when senators are expected to resume debates on the proposed online participation and votation. And for the latest, we have mobile journalist Merimon Reyes. All right, Merimon, have you heard any new reactions to the minority senators' walkout last night?
Lord, aside from their unified statement na mariin pa rin nilang ginigiit na nakikita nilang may pagmamadali or railroading on the part of the majority to pass the motion na umusad na itong motion para sa amendments to the Senate rules to allow a senator under justifiable reasons to participate remotely or virtually in sessions and later on possibly to put a vote on the impeachment or on the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. And ang pinaka sinasabi kanina ni Senator Ping Lacson sa isa niyang statement, pinakita lang daw ng minority na they could still win kahit panalyamado sa numero ang mayorya. Lalo't ang kakampi raw nila dito ay yung rules mismo ng Senado. Ang sabi pa nga ni Senator Ping, bakit daw ipinipilit ang botohan agad sa isang motion, lalo't marami pa raw questions or clarifications at marami pang gustong malaman na nakapila pa itong mga senador. Sana kung maisasalang na ito sa interpelasyon, lalo-lalo na ang yung pagdating daw sa kawalan ng consultation, kawalan ng debate sa Committee on Rules at yung amendments na nais gawin. Kung wala raw talaga sa panig ang katotohanan at ang rule o patakaran, ang tanging gagawin lang daw ay hatiin ang kapulungan, sabi ni Senator Ping. And yung sinasabi niya na to ay yung dividing of the House or division of the House na nais gawin kagabi ni Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano. Though nililinaw ni SP Cayetano na ang gusto lang daw niyang ma-put to the division of the House is kung maaari ng pagpasyahan sa plenaryo yung motion ni Senator Marcoleta and not the amendment to the rule pa. Pero nung nililinaw ulit yun ni SP Cayetano, nakita natin sina Senator Erwin Tulfo, tumayo na, sumunod na sina Senator Mig Zubiri, and all the other minority members except Minority Leader Senator Tito Soto who called out the lack of quorum and nag-motion for adjournment which happened later on. Si Senator Risa Hontiveros naman, ang sinabi niya is hindi raw pwedeng ikumpara itong video conferencing matter sa naging case daw or push ng Senate majority sa panawagan noong 2021 para payagan sa pagsasali sa sesyon at committee hearings si former Senator Laila de Lima. Ang context kasi noon, pandemya raw at ang Senado gaya ng ibang institusyon naka-video conferencing. And again, ang ninote niya dito, yung Senate rules na sinasabing kailangan o pinapayagang magkaroon ng teleconferencing or video conferencing ang sesyon sa Senado kapag ka merong force majeure or national emergencies, calamities that will hinder the convening of the Senate or yung physical na pagpupunta ng mga senador sa plenaryo or sa Senado mismo. While Senator Mig Zubiri, nagsabi rin siya kanina ng kanyang pahayag na he remains consistent sa stance nila on this matter. Lourdes.
Oh, a privilege that was denied to dead Senator Leila de Lima when she asked to participate.
Yes.
Kasi hindi lang ito votation ng usapan, di ba, Mary Mon? This is also about participation in the proceedings, yung discussions, debates, etc. Not just plain voting.
Yes, Lord. And ang pinaka-concern din kasi dito is kung sino raw ba talaga ang who will benefit from the amendment to the Senate rules. Kaya nga nabanggit kahapon ng ilang minority senators, is Senator Bato de la Rosa the one who will benefit from this amendment, or dahil ba sa napapabalitang may ilang mga senador pa from the majority ang posibleng maaresto? They're questioning talaga yung railroading or yung pagmamadali. Though ang sinasabi naman ni SP Cayetano, maaari naman daw na pagpasyahan ang isang motion sa plenaryo dahil mas mataas daw ito sa komite. Even though the motion was already referred to the Senate Committee on Rules last May 11, same day na ni-raise ito ni Senator Marcoleta and same day na nagpakita sa Senado si Senator Bato de la Rosa. But ang problem kasi dito, kaya hindi nagustuhan ng minority yung naging motion na yan, ay hindi pa fully constituted ang Senate Committee on Rules following nga yung kudeta na nangyari. Bakante pa yung ibang mga committee chairmanship at yung membership ng mga ito. So, nagkakaroon ng pagmamadali. So, nalagpasan yung supposed process na may hearing muna, maglalabas ng report, pipirmahan, pagbobotohan sa plenaryo, and then yung magiging final call talaga. Pero ang nasabi naman ni Senator Erwin Tulfo, it is possible that the majority will be tackling itong topic of amending the Senate rules come Monday next week. Kasi bukas, walang session sa Senado. Friday, hindi siya office day unless magkakaroon ng schedule ng committee hearings Monday next week. And to note, next week, after ng sessions nila, adjourned sine die ang Congress. So, no sessions for the meantime until by July, after din ng SONA, pag mag-start na yung second regular session, committee hearings ang abangan natin sa mga susunod na linggo.
Okay. Kasi sinabi mismo ni dating SP Frank Drilon, yung mismong sa labas ka lang ng Senate door sa may labi ka lang nakatayo, hindi ka na raw pwedeng bumoto. No? Talagang very strict ang rules now. At I guess one of the reasons why emotions were quite high last night was it was sprung, parang it was the minority was sort of ambushed, no? Binigla. It was not in the agenda. At pangalawa, there was a comment about the lack of legal background of many members of the minority. I guess that led to emotions or tempers flaring last night. Pero, Mary Mon, alam mo ba, habang kausap kita ngayon, here now to weigh in on last night's walkout, we have on Zoom former Senate President Franklin Drilon. Sir, si Lord de Vera po. Sir, thank you for your time. Alam ko, buong araw po kayo nagpapa-interview, sir.
Yes, maraming salamat po for having me tonight. I am willing to do my share in trying to explain kung ano ba itong gulong ito.
Okay. Sir, doon tayo sa unahin ko na muna yung mga medyo maliliit na issues. Have you ever heard any colleague in the Senate na may legal background, lawyer siya, pero nagparinig or said something negative in the vein of what Senator Marcoleta said to Senator Ontiveros, the absence of any legal training? That's quite uncharitable, but have you heard that?
No, I have not heard anyone sa aking 24 na panunungkulan sa Senado hindi ako nakarinig ng ganong klaseng salita na mahina ka, hindi ka kasi abogado, or hindi ka pwede magdebate dahil hindi ka abogado. Nirespeto po sa aking tingin, so doon po 24 na taon akong sa Senado, ay talagang nirespeto natin ang kapwa nating senador.
Regardless kung merong wala o meron or walang legal training, Senator.
Real po yan. Ano mo sa debate? Huwag mo sabihin na hindi ka pwede mag-debate dito dahil hindi ka abogado. Ay, hindi po tama yan. Talunin mo at ipaliwanag mo kung bakit hindi tama yung sinasabi ng kadebate mo. Ngunit huwag mong sabihin, hindi ka pwede makipag-debate dito dahil hindi ka abogado.
Okay, sir, zooming back to the year 2001, ano? Isa po kayo doon sa unang-unang lumapit kay then Senate President Nene Pimentel nung era of impeachment, ano? When he resigned after voting, after natalo yung voting to open the second envelope, so-called, ano? Nagpaliwanag si Senate President Nene, then resigned his post. Isa po kayo sa mga unang lumapit sa kanya at you're quite emotional, Senator. Yun ho ba, yung biglang pag-walkout ba ng mga prosecutors? Ang sabi daw, umaga pa lang ay naplano na yon, pero nagkaroon siguro ng spontaneous energy yung walkout na yun nung nangyari po yun, sir.
Hindi ko alam kung nag-uusap sila na mag-walkout bago yung sesyon sa hapon. Ang pagkaalam ko lang, ang pagkaalaala ko, kaya nag-walkout sila dahil out of frustration na hindi pinapayagang ilabas kung ano man ang nasa loob ng second envelope. Ibig sabihin, kaya sila nag-walkout dahil hindi po mailabas sa tingin nila ang katotohanan dahilan po ayaw buksan yung pangalawang envelope. Yun po ang pag-aalaala ko.
But in all this time, wala pong nag-attempt, even pre-impeachment, na mag-derail or i-postpone ang trial?
Wala po. Wala po. Talagang tuloy-tuloy ang trial noon. In fact, every day ang trial sa hapon, sa umaga, kung anumang panukalang batas na aming ipapasa ay aming pinagdidebatihan. Yan po ang nangyayari. Nagkaroon ng session sa umaga, sa hapon impeachment court.
Opo. Okay. So, yung absence of legal training, sir, babalik po ako doon. Sa tingin niyo ba ay magiging problema to kung matuloy na nga trial eventually at kung itong isang rules on amending participation in voting physical versus online ay pinag-aawayan na? What more kung sunod-sunod pa itong mga legal flashpoints?
Alam niyo po, yung design ng ating sistema ay talagang hindi naman talaga po, kung hindi ka abogado, ay hindi ka na pwede mag-impeachment court member. Dahilan po ang pinagbabatayan diyan kung tayo po ba ay nahalal ng taong bayan bilang isang senador. Regardless of our educational background, respetuhin po natin ang mandato ng bawat isang senador at kasama sa tungkulin ng isang senador ay upo bilang senator judge kung sakali mabuo yung impeachment court. Regardless po of kung may knowledge of the law or not, wala po, hindi po bilang hindi yung tinitingnan. Ang tinitingnan dyan kung ikaw ba'y talagang sapat sa inyong tungkulin na ipapatupad ang saligang batas tungkol sa accountability ng mga impeachable officers.
Pero paano po yun, Senator, kung sabihin natin na yung command niya ng saligang batas ay hindi ganun ka-persuasive, sir?
Material po yan dahil sa ang assumption lahat tayo nakakaintindi ng ating tungkulin at pwede ka namang kumuha ng mga advisor tungkol sa saligang batas. na makatutulong sa iyo para maintindihan natin at malaman natin kung ano ang ating mga tungkulin at kapangyarihan bilang mga isang senador sa ilalim ng ating saligang batas.
Sir, may tradisyon ho ba? Ang balita ko, merong tradisyon na if there's a senator about to bring any issue to plenary, dapat at least a day before, or he or she has to provide copies for fellow senators. Ano? So, yung pag-spring up bigla-bigla ng mga agenda, parang yung nangyari po kagabi, is not exactly the height of politeness. Tama po ba?
Ganito po ang patakaran. Hindi ko po masyadong nasundan yung nangyari kagabi. Ngunit ito, let's be specific, yung amendment sa aming rules. Linagay nila na sinubukan nilang amyendahin at pwede pong bumoto kahit wala ka sa session hall. Ang gusto ko po, ang sino man ang mag-amend ng aming rules ay ipopresenta po sa plenaryo ang isang panukalang pagbago ng rules. Yan po ay babasahin on first reading, pagkatapos i-refer sa Committee on Rules kung saan pag-uusapan ang panukalang baguhin ang aming Senate rules. At doon pagkatapos doon magkakaroon ng report ang Committee on Rules sa plenary session at doon po pagdidibatihan ang report ng committee. Ang report ng committee pwedeng amendahin at paano amendahin, pwedeng hindi na amendahin. So, yan po ang proseso. Ngunit ang nangyari dito, nagkaroon ng, napanood ko, si Senator Marcoleta proposed na ang aming reglamento kung saan kailangan nasa session hall ka in case of nominal voting, in case ng bubotohan. Hindi ka pwedeng bumoto kung wala ka sa session hall. Sa katunayan, kahit nasa lounge ka at ang pagitan ng lounge namin o ng aming lounge at ang session hall ay dingding lamang, kailangan pumasok ka sa session hall in order to vote. Ganun po ka-stricto ang tradition namin. Kaya ito proposal na pwedeng electronic voting, isang malaking pagbabago na dapat naman pag-usapan ng gusto. Dahil maraming implikasyon. Halimbawa, doon po sa quorum, kung susundin mo itong sinasabing pagbabago, ay yung Senate President, posible po, siya lang ang senador doon. Lahat laptop na kausap niya. At lahat may quorum, pwede magdebate sa laptop. So, there are so many things. Kaya po ito'y isang malaking pagbabago na dapat pag-usapan ng gusto. Hindi ko naman maintindihan kung bakit pinagmamadali at pinagpipilit na pagbutohan. Kaya sa akin po, sinasabi ko nga sa mga interview today, yan po, nakikita natin ang tawag natin dyan, tyranny of the majority. Dahil po mayroon photo, kailangan ipilit na. Hindi dapat ganun eh. Sa Senado po, usually ang decision through consensus. Ibig sabihin, pag-uusapan, ano bang pinakamabuti at ano ba ang compromise na may mga objection, ano ang pwede natin gawin. Hindi po yung magsusumiti ka ng proposed amendment, pagbubutuhan at dahilan sa mayroon kang mas nakakarami, isaksak mo na lang sa Senate rules ang ibig ng majority. Yan po sa ating saligang batas. Mayroon po kapangyarihan ang Korte Suprema to correct grave abuse of discretion. Pwede po ang isang ahensya ng pamahalaan ay mayroong diskresyon na gampanan ng isang tungkulin. Ngunit kung ang desisyon ay arbitrary, ay grave abuse, inabuso ang diskresyon para magdesisyon ng isang bagay, yun po ay may kapangyarihan ng Korte Suprema to correct this. At sa aking pong tingin, kung tinuloy nila kagabi yung botohan, that is a classic example of a malicious abuse of discretion. Ngayon, lumabas yung mga majority, yung mga minority at nawalan ng quorum kaya hindi na pwede pagbutuhan yung proposed amendment. At yun naman doon sa mga parliamentary practice, ginagawa yan na talagang sinasadyang kung hindi mo mapigil ang isang panukala, pwede po kayo umalis. At ang maiiwan ay questionin yung quorum. Nangyayari po yan araw-araw sa Senado kung mayroong mga bagay na mainit ang debate. Ngunit yan po ay accepted parliamentary practice.
Pero hindi po ganito karami, sir. At ano pong significance ng ganito karaming nagwo-walk out?
Kailangan siguro para mawala ng quorum. Dahil kung isa lang mag-walk out, baka mayroon pa rin labing dyan sa loob.
Strategy
Kaya,
po siya.
hindi ko alam kung ano ang sitwasyon. Ngunit ang number po ay siguro yan ang kailangan in order na magiging less than the 50% plus 1 na kailangan palaging present sa session hall.
Opo, alam kasi nila na they still have the numbers, kaya strike while the iron is hot. Pero sinasabi nila, yung kay then Senator Leila de Lima ay yung kanyang plea to participate remotely ay marami pong nagtatry magkumpara dito po, sir. Ano po ang natin dito, insight dito, sir?
Yung kay Senator de Lima, ang proposal po ay humihingi kami na payagan si Senator de Lima na sumali sa debate at saka sa plenaryo. Ngunit hindi namin sinasabi na sumali siya sa botohan dahil alam namin na ang botohan ang botohan sa isang panukala ay kailangan presensya doon sa session hall. At noon po hindi pwedeng kaya yun po ang hinihingi namin na para naman magampanan ng Senator de Lima yung kanyang tungkulin, lalo na po yung mga batas na kanyang kung saan siya ang nag-sponsor, he can defend, she can defend the proposed measure at ngunit hindi siya pwedeng bumoto dahil alam namin sa rules kailangan personal presence. Yung resolution po did not call for the amendment of the rule on personal presence. Hindi po hiningi na baguhin ang batas, ang aming reglamento tungkol sa personal presence. Dahil nangyari lang po yung voting through electronic means noong mayroong pandemya. Pandemya, yun. Dahilan sa wala nang papasok. At dahilan sa pandemya, kaya naging exemption, may emergency, kaya aming pinayagan ng Senado at sa mga ayon kami lahat na pwedeng bumoto through electronic means. But not, it was in other cases, na wala namang emergency, hindi po pwede.
Baka mag-end up po tayo ng isang Senado na puro laptop na lang ang mga nag-uusap. Sir, Senator Drilon, maraming salamat po sa pagpayag po ninyo sa aming interview. Alam ko, you've been giving interviews since breakfast. Maraming salamat po, sir.
Maraming salamat. Thank you.
That's former Senate President Frank Drilon. All right, more political developments ahead on Political Beat. We're back. You're still watching Political Beat. As tensions rise in the Senate, two former lawmakers weigh in on rules, the walkout, and the upper chamber's next steps. And joining us now is former Senator Gringo Honasan. Good evening, Senator Greg. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Lord. Good evening to our viewers. And thank you so much for this opportunity.
May interesting times in the Chinese sense of the word. What's happening? Everything happening now. All right. So before your comment on last night's walkout, do you think it was What does a walkout signify in a chamber that's built on presence? Yung biglang paglabas, more than yung sinabi ni Senator Drilon kanina, it might be a tactic to not form a quorum, pero ethically, ano yung dating po nun?
Lord, ano ba ang trabaho ng lawmaker? No? I'm not passing judgment on the present Senate, no? To legislate, to make laws. So, did the walkout serve that objective? Ngayon, second point, tayo nanonood tayo. We have a national audience and a global audience. What does this tell our audience? Diba? In short, ito natutunan ko naman sa mga millennials, no? Yung pangyayari, walkout, diba? Collegial body, consensual body. Ano ang epekto nun sa buhay ko? Kung ako nanonood. Lalong-lalo na, if I represent the next generation of citizens and leaders. Diba? Global and national. Then, third point is, does this reflect our natural traits as Filipinos? Di ba tayo mga Pilipino? Lagi kong sinasabi ito at pinaalala sa mga kausap ko. No? Pag pag-uusapan dunong, global tayo, competitive. No? Pag pinag-usapan puso, champion tayo dyan. Good manners and right conduct.
Pero Senator, sinabi niyo rin sa isang interview, narinig ko po yan, yung Hear It About Millennials, na isa ring traits ng millennials is authenticity. What if that walkout happened in the heat of emotions?
Yes.
And that was the overwhelming feeling at that point.
Yes. When you're talking about a collegial body, there is never an individual decision. Diba? Kaya it's a numbers game, and change is almost dynamic. No? If we, according to our constitution, have to change our president every 6 years, our mayors, congressmen, governors every 3 years.
Natural lang.
Natural lang yung pagbabago. No?
Okay, pero Senator, you speak of collegial, no? You had, as colleagues in the Senate, you had Raul Roco, you had Nene Pimentel, Miriam Santiago, Juan Ponce Enrile, even the older Cayetano, no? Have you ever, Senator Drilon, have you ever had a colleague who's a lawyer in the heat of argument highlight anyone's lack, not just your lack of legal background or legal training? At anong dating po nun?
Lord, dalawa ang sagot ko dyan. No? Nung bagito akong senador, new fight senator, nandun kami sa last row. Napagitnaan ako. To my right was the late Senator Raul Roco. To my left was Senator June Magsaysay. Si Senator Roco, Bicolano yan eh. And,
yes.
I understand he could have been the first Bicolano president. Sabi sa akin ni Manoy Raul, no? Sabi niya, Greg, nilagay tayo rito ng taong bayan. Hindi dahil sa dati kang sundalo, dati kang rebelde, ako dating abogado. Linagay tayo rito para bumoto. Diba? Kaya kung madala ng boto natin yung majority decision, down the road, people will suffer, people will be relieved. In fact, some will lose their lives, some will live. So bago tayo bumoto, mag-aral tayo. So walang kinalaman sa background. So we never invoke that. Ilagay tayo rito as a collegial body to vote. No? Second point, wala pa namang dahil ang sagot ko naman doon, no? Invoking a legal background. Dati akong sundalo. Pwede ko namang itanong nung sa kausap ko. Ikaw ba'y nakaharap na ng wrong end of a gun barrel in combat? Ikaw ba'y tinamaan na? Ako kasi naranasan ko na rin yun. So, that's not a good start for a conversation in a collegial body.
Impolite.
Yes.
Para may kanya-kanya tayong mga trabaho. Pero to underscore that,
Yes.
it's an a-hole move, sabi nga ng mga millennials. Okay, so, nagkaroon na ba ng, sa tingin mo, parang everyone's saying that probably this is one of the lowest points of the Senate in terms of perception. Anong masasabi niyo po ron, Senator?
Kung ang pag-uusapan, Lord, timeline, baka it's also a case of national impatience. Sa akin, mas mabuti na yung ganito, harapan. Harapan kayo mag-walk out. Gusto ba ninyo, mag-usap-usap yung nag-walk out ng madaling araw? May tinatago, hindi lang tarang harapan. Di ba? Pero ako, Lord, no? We are only 120 years old as a democracy.
I-compare mo sa iba.
The
Bata pa
US
yun.
is 250 years old. Yet they have their own problems.
Tama.
Some people have different opinions about their elected president. No?
Nobody said democracy was easy.
Churchill said democracy is the worst form of government, with the exception of others we have tried. The UK is 1,000 years old without a written constitution. What are we dealing with? Globally, in fact, malapit sa atin. A country with a 5,000-year history. China. So when you add 1,000 plus 250 plus 120, wala pa sa kalahati. What could we possibly experience that they have not experienced over 5,000 years? That's one view. But again, if you tell me, bottom line, nakakalungkot. Nakakalungkot, nakakabahala. No? Dahil, again, I go back to my question. How does that happening in the Senate serve the highest public and national interest? What example does it show to our next generation, our children, our most precious resource?
Speaking of example, ano po yung dating sa inyo when Senator Bato sang the PMA hymn? Ano ba yun? Call to arms ba yun? Ano pong dating nun? Did it strike you as what?
Maybe he was trying to draw from reserves of moral strength. Dahil ang pakiramdam niya, baka hindi siya makakuha ng fair trial to be meted out by an international court. Diba? So nagdasal siya. Naging emotional siya. He went back to academy days and sang the alma mater song. I mean, I was not surprised.
Ginagawa niyo rin ho ba yun?
Okay, pero hindi ko kinakanta in front of media dahil it's not quite. I feel different. It's something very private. No?
I see.
Yeah.
Pero on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, kamusta yung performance niya?
Okay naman. At least wala ako nakitang
Sintonado.
sintonado o memorized naman niya yung lyrics.
Is there a secret code na pag narinig yan ng mga mista niya ay they have to do something? Wala naman.
I wouldn't know what the effect would be, no? But I suppose it touched the emotions of some of the PMA graduates, no? But ang concern ko rito, Lord, no, is it is dividing the country. When what should constitute part of our national interest is unity, di ba? Our advocacy, our mantra, our concern, our objective should be political unity, pillars of national security. Political unity, social cohesion, a sense of nationhood. Di ba, pinapako tayo palagi sa pro-this, pro-that, pro-BBM, anti-Duterte, pro-China, anti-US, di ba? Bihira ko marinig, Lord, yung pro-Pilipino.
Yan po yung excuse ng mga nag-collaborate sa mga Hapon after World War II. I'm neither pro-Japanese or pro-American, I'm pro-Filipino.
You mentioned our experience with a neighbor, no? Tinatanong ko minsan, ito oblique ito ng konti, about the West Philippine Sea issue. Sabi niya, does the Philippines have an army? No? To confront a foreign aggressor invader. Sabi ko, no, the Philippines does not have an army because the Philippines is an army. Diba? So, haven't they learned from the Japanese, the Spanish, the Americans? Where are they now? And where are we now? Second, nasabihin sa akin, marami silang pera, powerful ang army nila, ang navy nila, di ba? In other words, ang labanan ngayon asymmetric warfare. Lord, we have 300 years of experience in asymmetric warfare.
Nauna pa tayo sa Vietnam, sila Aguinaldo, di ba?
We are an archipelago. We are more important to the global superpowers, no, than they are to us. Diba? Can you imagine not exploiting that inherent strength? Tingnan mo yung mapa. I learned this over
sinakanyo yung streets natin, ay may mga checkpoint tayong pwedeng
checkpoint, di ba? Tatlo yan, checkpoint natin. Honshu, Japan yan, no? Basi Strait, between Taiwan and Northern Luzon, and then Palawan. Sa tatlong choke point, dinadaanan ng barko at eroplano. Dalawa ang hawak natin. Hindi natin sinisingil even through RFID. Any threat, no, has to cross bodies of water. Yung leverage natin globally, no, the source of our strength,
But Senator Greg, iba na yung warfare ngayon.
yun nga.
Mga drones na.
Yun nga.
Hindi na kailangan dumaan pa sa kahit sa ibabaw ng dagat, hindi na rin abot ng mga satellites.
Totoo yan. Pero to confirm your victory, dapat boots on the ground pa rin. Pag hindi ka pwedeng mag-project ng tao ron, di ba? Ibig sabihin, hanggang drone ka na lang.
Robot boots. Okay, Senator Greg. Okay, sinabi nila na si Senator Bato hindi mahuhuli yan kasi PMA yan. Yung nakukulong lang naman ay yung mga hindi PMA. Anong sabi mo, ang comment niyo po rito?
Hindi natin alam. Hindi natin alam. Dahil with some experience, no, under my belt, di ba?
Of course.
Ako naman, 7 years akong naging fugitive. 2 beses ako nakulong.
To be fair,
Yes.
nahuli kayo kasi may cash reward.
Well, hindi lang yun. Nahuli ako. Wala akong magagawa. Kinulong ako sa barko. So, ang ginawa ko...
Wala pa cash reward pala yun.
Oo.
Una.
Hindi. But it's my duty also as a soldier. So, I escaped with my guards.
Na-convince mo raw yung mga guards mo.
Hindi, not because of some sex appeal, no? Or,
Sorry.
okay. We could have taken the ship. Hindi ko lang alam kung saan
That
ipaparada.
was the height of your popularity.
Well, the height of my
Post-EDSA,
passion, younger, di ba? Pero ang ibig sabihin no, naintindihan ng Special Forces, mga SEAL teams yun 2 SEAL teams, yung issues, hindi dahil sa, sabi ko dun sa officer in charge, sabi ko, I have to rejoin the struggle, di ba? So you have 3 choices. Pag sinubukan kong tumakas, barilin niyo ako, no hard feelings. Okay? Second is, patakasin niyo ako. Iko-court martial kayo, pero you will survive it, di ba? Or, ito yung pinakamabigat na choice, sumama kayo sa akin. So, nag-meeting sila. Pagbalik, sir, we have decided. Sabi ko, ano decision nyo? Sabi niya, sama kami sa inyo. Okay. So, again, as I was
Nag-push up
saying,
sila pagkatapos.
we could have taken the ship. Hindi ko lang alam kung saan ko ipaparada yung flagship ng Philippine Navy. Di ba? Medyo 300 meters yung
Mahirap naman
RPS
nagsusulat.
Andres Bonifacio.
Ayun.
Second time, I was detained. I was implicated in some
Yes.
uprising again, Santa Rosa. I was granted bail. Yes.
Okay, pero pinag-aaralan ba yung pagtago sa inyong military training? At di ba yung usual na mantra is, you hide where it's the least obvious.
Kunyan, double edge. Parang VIP security. Okay? Pag in charge ka of security. By the way, hindi ako nagmamayabang. No? Lahat ng sinecure ko, nung yun ang trabaho ko, mag-secure, buhay naman. Yung namatay from natural causes. Okay. How do you secure a person? Anonymity. Huwag kang makatawag ng pansin. Akala kasi nung iba, pag marami kang bodyguard, no?
Safe ka.
Aba, hindi. Di ba? Hindi. Bababa ka rin dyan sa kotse mo kahit na gaano ka bulletproof, no? And they will hit you where you are most vulnerable. So, anonymity is the best form of VIP security. Apply it now to being a fugitive. Di ba? Anonymity. Huwag kang makatawag ng pansin.
Pero sa katawan daw ni Senator De La Rosa, medyo mahirap maging anonymous.
Well, pwede siya magpanggap ng something but I will not go into that. Baka may-insulto siya.
Kunyari, patata siya, ganun. Or nyog.
Lord, ikaw nagsabi niyan. Baka bumaba ang rating ng
Kasi
program.
kinuwento nyo dati, sir, na sabi nyo dati, you had to dress up like a woman, sleep inside coffins, parang gano'n. Ano?
You have to take risks. Especially if you to meet supporters. But, by the way, it's not only Senator Bato who is in that situation. No, not only that. We have a few people who, yes, but we'll not mention them para hindi naman sila mano. Yeah.
Yung sinabi, hide well, hindi ko alam kung sa mga sundalo kung may code ba yun. Yung sinabi ni Ping Lacson, ng advisor kay Senator Bato, si hide well. Pero, If you were Senator Bato, buti kasi wala pang social media masyado nung panahon ninyo, Senator Greg, no? Pero nung nakita mo yung image of a soldier na now senator na nahuhulog-hulog sa hagdan, ano po yung dating sa inyo nun, sir? Is that breaking the myth?
3 co-equal branches of government. Di ba? Pero pasukin mo naman yung separate branch of government. You are a legally authorized armed group. Pero you enter the premises of a sacred branch of government. Di ba? What does that, what message does that convey? Pero yung binabanggit mong, what can we suggest to Senator Bato? Baka tayong dalawa maging persons of interest. Pag nag-suggest tayo kung paano magtago effective. But this is a rule naman that is of public knowledge.
Opo, tinago naman daw ni dating President Duterte noon.
Hindi, siyempre, ito, human nature. Huwag kang magpatago o magtago dun sa mga kilalang kamag-anak mo, mga kaibigan mo, di ba? So, the more neutral, politically or otherwise, I guess the more secure you will be. That's my thinking.
The more neutral you are, the more secure you will be.
Yung mga hindi pagdududahan, hindi pagsuspetsahan. Doon mo ngayon, I understand from the news that law enforcement agencies have been visiting, di ba, homes of friends, supporters, political allies. No? That's a natural occurrence naman.
I see. Baka nasa Senate building nga lang daw yun, sinasabi niya. Hindi natin alam.
Di ba? Oo.
So si Senator Bato, kasi may template siya, pwede siya maglagay ng afro wig, di ba? Maraming, kumbaga blank slate, tabula rasa. Pero Senator Greg, ibang ngayon kasi may technology na, no? You being dating DICT Secretary, na-triangulate daw yung cellphone kasi ninyo noon. No? Kaya isang dahilan yan kaya na-track kayo.
Yes.
Pero ngayon ba, ang mas willing, mas determined ba magtago ay hindi kayang mahuli ng isang determinadong, kumbaga may, sabagay, si Osama Bin Laden. Talagang,
Na-triangulate din. At sino ang kumukup sa kanya? Isang bansa na tinutulungan
Ng Amerika.
ng bilyon-bilyon ng Amerika. Can you imagine, di ba?
Grabe,
So parang sinabi mong nagtago sa sariling bakuran, di ba? Pero ang punto ko talaga rito, di ba, is bakit ka magtatago sa mga pinagdududahan? So balik tayo dun sa rule na anonymity.
kasi baka isipin na, hindi naman siguro ganun ka-stupid yun na magtatago siya. We will think to look at that place. Pero minsan, yung pinaka-obvious, sabi nila, di ba, ganun sa Senator Greg. Okay, speaking of which, may bago kayo ngayon na binuong party.
Yes, I just remembered.
Apo.
Sorry, Lord, sabat ako ng sabat. Ano ang sagot? Ang rule na natutunan ko noon, nung naging DICT Secretary ako. Because I put together a team, a formidable legal team and technical team. Zero trust.
Zero trust.
Yes. Kahit na masuhin mo at durugin mo yung cellphone mo, lalo na kung smartphone, as long as one component is able to transmit a signal, pwede ka na i-triangulate.
Senator Greg,
So
kamusta?
ano ang rule? Di ba? Ano ang rule? Ano ang sagot? Pangkontra sa high-tech? Mag-low-tech.
Low-tech.
Low-tech ka.
Speaking of which, kamusta na po yung iPhone na binigay sa inyo ni Senator Tito Soto dati? Buhay pa ho ba?
Buhay pa naman. But again, that's sinabi mo rin naman, no? Ang trade secret, di ba, mas mahirap i-track yung analog. Oo.
Correct. So, bumalik po ba kayo sa 3210 na cellphone?
Meron pa rin akong 3210. Pero meron na ako for big data.
Wow! Ano na po yung mga apps na meron sa inyong telepono?
Lahat. Pero ito, nakakagulat, Lord. No? Ang nagtuturo sa akin ng apps, yung 11-year-old kong
Apo.
apo. Lolo. Di ba? Kaya tinawag yan na touchscreen. Huwag masyadong diinan na bubulabog yung... Di ba? Yung nasanay ako na, di ba?
Imagine kita.
yung keypad. Di ba? Halos
Imagine.
madurog eh. Sabi, hindi, touchscreen yan. Dahan-dahan lang.
Okay. Yung online voting, ano pong pananaw ninyo dito, Senator Greg?
Anything that technology. What does technology? You are allowed to intervene faster and then in a more accurate manner. Hindi ko pangungunahan yung ating Senado at Kongreso. No? Kung makakatulong yan no, sa mas mabilis na botohan, na issue lamang, issue-based. No? Pero kung mauwi na naman sa partisan politics, no? Kampi-kampi na naman, kaya mo gustong bumoto dahil gusto mong may pagbabago, di ba? Parang mag-focus lang tayo, di ba? So, ako, kung tatanungin ako, harness the power of technology.
Yes.
In fact, that is also the approach for yung laging sinasabi ng gobyerno, inclusive growth. Di ba? Inclusive growth. Naranasan ko to. Pag lalapit ka sa local government, i-connect natin, ha? Lagay tayo ng tower, kable, satellite. Ang tanong sa isip nila, kung minsan nahihiyang sabihin sa akin, Secretary, ilan ba ang boto dyan? Boto. Punta ka sa private sector, kausapin mo yung telcos, di ba? O i-connect natin. The same pitch, no? Ang tanong, saan ba tayo kikita dyan? So sinasagot ko naman. Sabi ko, pag kinonect natin yung pinakamalayo, pinakamaliit at pinakamahirap, yan ang ibig sabihin ng inclusive growth, di ba? Para sabay-sabay, di ba? Then, dadami ang tao, magkakaroon ng productivity, di ba? Dadami ang boto. At siyempre, kikita ka dyan.
Everybody happy.
Yes. Ito yung classic management theory, Lord, di ba? That's the short-term investment or sacrifice for a long-term benefit. Second, national priorities. Ito lang ang pera mo. Kahit na yung pinakamakapangyarihan na bansa, ito lang ang pera. Ang question is, ano ang uunahin mo? Di siyempre, unahin mo para inclusive growth ka. Yung pinakamalayo, pinakamaliit at pinakamahirap. That's the way to build a nation.
Do you have plans for 2028, sir?
Hindi. I'll consider it, no? But my main focus now is, of course, yung tinanong mo kanina, the political party,
I see.
no? And connecting our next generation of citizens and leaders, no? Nakausap ko yung iba. One time I was asked to be a resource person in the House no, for charter change. Sabi ko, hindi ko kaya yung political. I can say something about economic reforms. No? Pagpunta ko ron, Lord, sabi ko, itong institution na to, medyo damaged institution, mababa ang credibility. And it was reflected in the trust rating surveys. No? Nagtanong, nung open forum, ang gagaling, Lord, nung tanong. So, nung coffee break, nilapitan ko yung mga ibang lawmakers. Di ba? Sabi ko, ba't hindi kayo nagsasalita? Alam mo, sagot sa akin, Lord, Sir, pag nagsalita kami, papatayan kami ng gripo.
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 Tama.
You know what I mean, no? So, paano namin tutulungan yung mga constituents namin? And I experienced that during the last campaign period, talking to younger, di ba, mayors, governors, board members, even barangay captains, no? And I am so happy that, without mentioning names, no, that a lot of young people are now speaking out, visible and audible, saying the right things. And there are many of them. Ito yung i-jumpstart natin, no? Because I must admit to you, our generation did a lot of things well. Did a lot of good things. But we also did a lot of things
Not
wrong.
so well.
Wrong.
Opo.
So pag jumpstart natin, itong next generation, ipapast track.
Sir Greg, alam mo, marami pa tayong pwede pag-usapan, pero Senator, thank you very much for your time, sir.
Well, Lord, my parting message, not only to you, but to our audience is, alam mo, hindi tayo pro-ganito, pro-Pilipino tayo.
Pro-Pinoy.
One flag, one people, no? One nation. Together. Uulit-ulitin yan. Together. Always together. Not as Bicolanos or Ilocanos or Muslims, no? Together, dreaming hard, praying hard, and working hard for our next generation of citizens and leaders, our
Yes.
children.
Kasi work in progress pa rin ang Pilipinas.
Work in progress na. So,
All right, sir. Thank you, Senator. Maraming
Ako.
salamat do.
Lord, salamat.
Gregorio Honasan, Senator, the gentleman from Sorsogon. All right, Political Beat will be back after this break. And you're still watching Political Beat. I would guess our guest would not mind me quoting this. Politics is war without bloodshed, and war is politics with bloodshed. So goes the famous saying of Chairman Mao. The parliamentary procedure is basically built on systems of presence. Then the physical act of leaving plenary is a significant weapon. Of course, you can be the finest legal luminary, the most fearsome of debating skills, but the walkout is the parliamentary equivalent of the mic drop, while dousing the floor with kerosene before lighting a cigarette. Politics is theater as well. It's very much performative as it is argumentative. During the Marcos years, opposition figures used absences and withdrawals as tools of protest. Post-EDSA politics transformed walkout into televised symbolism. Senators and congressmen discovered that storming out offered something irresistible in the age of cameras: instant moral framing. The walkout then became both conscience and content. And timing is everything. Just ask the militant Solons of the past who have made walking out of saunas a yearly ritual. A few paragraphs into the speech would make for an extremely dramatic gesture. In 2007, Trillanes and Magdalo officers implicated in the 2003 Oakwood Mutiny staged a walkout from a Makati court. You know, that the one that led to the Manila Peninsula siege. A few months after, they would send a letter of apology to the court saying that they meant no disrespect. In 2018, something strange almost happened. President Duterte almost walked out of his own State of the Nation address after being massively displeased by Gloria Arroyo's blitzkrieg takeover of the House leadership. In July 2025, 4 lawmakers from Davao, including the son of the ex-president Duterte, walked out in the middle of the voting for Speaker. Well, walkouts are quite rare in the upper chamber. With the exception of last night's, the last mass walkout we remember was made by the prosecution team during the ERAP impeachment trial. The trigger for that was the now famous second envelope that the majority of senators voted not to open as evidence. That was the evening of January 17, 2001. The same evening, thousands gathered on EDSA, and after 3 days, we had a new president. That was 25 years ago, during the dark days of the SMS-only and calls-only cellular phone. So would another more dramatic walkout mobilize such a mammoth movement with this generation? We think not. Maybe impassioned posts on social media. You know, what Mao did not predict was that in the age of Facebook and TikTok, politics is war without bloodshed, but with angry hashtags. And that's the Political Beat this Wednesday, 27th of May. I am Lourdes Rivera. Enjoy the rest of the evening.